What sucks the most about getting older? Realizing your loved ones are getting older too. I was excited to grow up and finally be able to drink legally, drive a car, etc. But once I stopped to take a good look at my parents, they've aged much faster than I had realized. By the time I could beat my dad at sports, I didn't want to. Realizing how goddamn stupid everyone is, especially right now, it's hard to process. Compromising with your dreams. Aches and pains in places there shouldn't be aches and pains. You still feel young but get treated like you're old. Here's one woman's experience. It's painful to come to the realization that the deterioration of your face and body isn't temporary. At first, possibly in your mid-40s, you notice and seek solutions. Maybe try some pricier skincare products or hit the key masseuse. You see a slight improvement, feel good about it, and time continues to pass. Eventually, you notice bigger changes. Menopause happens. Gray hair appears. Skin loosens as that layer of youthful fat thins just below the surface. Again, you may try to ameliorate the situation. Perhaps even consider a medical intervention. But sooner or later you begin to understand that there are just too many parts making up the whole to turn back the health and beauty clock. Sure, you could get a facelift, but it won't fix your neck. You can lift weights all day long, but it won't really fix those bingo wings or reverse the telltale aging of your hands. People begin to respond to you differently, too. You're no longer getting that mild interest vibe when you interact with men your own age. Eyes pass over you and light upon the fresh and fertile ones. Inside, you're still the same you, but now you're muffled in a shell that doesn't fit your self-image. And there's no going back. None of this, of course, is a crucial aspect of your life. There are many things happening that supersede these concerns. But it does matter to you and you feel bereft. You mourn the loss privately and mostly in silence. There is no social market that allows you to talk about the sadness that your loss of beauty brings. Such things are only discussed with friends and sisters, because to say it publicly would betray what is considered shallow and superficial. It's a lonely passage, but you'll manage it. We all do. 66 years old here. I have immense sadness for the reasons you stated. In my teens and 20s, I nitpicked every aspect of my appearance. Now, when I look at pictures from that time, I see how beautiful I was. I wish I had appreciated it. Yesterday I yawned too hard and pulled a muscle. About a month ago, I started to sneeze and threw out my back. Never got the sneeze out. Feck, thinking you're still young like you used to be. Until you hang around people who are actually that age. Then you realize, holy fuck, I am not like the monsieur. When you notice how simultaneously smart and incredibly stupid young people can be. And then realize I was like that. And still look that way the people who are 70. Seeing your physical abilities diminish. I'm 62, and I clearly can't lift as much, run as fast, jump as high, walk as far, etc. as I once did. In our first 20 years these abilities keep getting better and better. For the next 20 you do your best to retain your strength. But at some point after that they start going backwards. And that decline never stops. I was overweight and unfit for most of my working life. Retired. Stopped drinking. Lost weight. Hit the key monsieur. I'll never be the same as I was back in my 20s. But I feel pretty good compared to how I was for decades. Except my knees. I run 200 yards on pavement and the damn things feel like they're going to explode. Ungrateful bastards. The monotony. When you're young, every school year and every semester is a fresh start. New people, new classes, new routine. Everything feels so dynamic and new. You get old and stick around at a job for a while. See the same people every day with occasional switch in staff. Maybe you get the chance at a few jobs changes every few years, but you'd rather not risk it because you've got bills to pay. Before you know it, 20 years has gone by and you don't know what happened. Yeah, when you're younger it feels like every year is a level up. You are gaining newer and better skills on a structured timetable. Then you get to the real world and it's basically just decades of open spaces with no structure. You still learn and grow, but it's more ad hoc. This hit me when I got my first office job and the holidays came and went without any fanfare. Just oh, you get a day or two off this week. In school there was always a build-up, decorations, talking about the founding father and pilgrims, etc. In university it was time to take a break and go back home. As an adult it just came and went. This is why I'm that person during the holidays. That person who overdoes it and is always happy, and who puts up decorations right after Halloween, and who wears festive sweaters every day for 2 months. You gotta make your own fun as an adult. Trying to get out of bed in the morning. I used to jump, now I roll. Sounds funny but it's not. I will leave out body parts decaying and shutting down until you feel like you need a whole body transplant. That's tough. But there is something more difficult than that. I never thought about until it started happening. And it is friends and family members dying. With the exception of my wife, everyone I knew in college is gone. Coronavirus took a sibling last week, and I have one core family member left. When you get old enough, that has to happen. I'm just saying it's hard to see all those people's lives, people who are important to you, reduced to a few paragraphs at the back of a newspaper. This, coupled with it being harder to make close friends as you get older, can make aging feel very lonely. You start to realize a lot of people in business have no idea what they're talking about and are very incompetent. Good leaders and managers are far and few between. Most people who rise up in corporate America got where they were due to seniority, luck, and being good at socializing with the right people. How funerals seem to be happening more often than weddings. Just make sure to put the fun in funeral and you'll do alright. Feeling like you have been beaten while you slept and you did nothing the previous day to bring that on. Ear hair, nose hair, in that order. And it grows faster than the hair on your head, which seems to have migrated everywhere else. Responsibilities. I feel like I have less responsibilities as an adult than as a child. School was much more stressful than work. But with more responsibilities comes with more freedom, as your kids have very few options what to do. As an adult, the possibilities are almost limitless. To be fair though, I still play video games like if I was still a kid. When you're younger you can pretty much heal from anything in like a day. It pretty much only hurts for that moment and you're good. Now God forbid I hurt anything and it can be an ongoing issue for months. Like a couple of years ago I went a little too heavy bench pressing and my shoulder was basically useless for months. It's weird but you just heal so much slower from everything. It happens so slowly and then bam, your knees hurt, and you can't remember the reason why you came into a room, monsieur. The days are long but the years are short. Your perception of time speeds up, so it seems like your life just continues to go by quicker and quicker. I have more moments all the time where I think of some event that seems like it was recent but actually happened like 5 years ago. Getting closer to the end of a rather entertaining story. My grandmother said something once that has stayed with me for nearly 40 years. It's not that I want to do it all over again. It's that I want to do more. Everything good starts to fade. Your physical ability, your social skills. Unless you push yourself to extremes, everything you love will turn to ash quickly. This thread was kinda bumming me out, but your post made me realize something. Some things get better with age. For me personally, it's social skills. I like whatever and whoever the fuck now as an adult. But as a teen I did anything to get the popular girls to like me. Realizing that the adults you once looked up to for answers, usually your parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, etc., are generally as clueless, biased, and sometimes just flat out wrong as the next person. It took some of my friends quite some time to deprogram themselves from some pretty far-fetched and baseless racial, religious and political theories they had always accepted as fact just because it was persistently taught to them at a young age from who they thought was a credible source. Realizing all the shit you missed out on doing when you were younger and knowing all the things you'd do differently if you had the knowledge of today. Depends. Missing things you took for granted. In starting to feel my body age, and I really miss when I used to feel like I would always bounce back from any physical injury. I know the thread is about aging, but the whole coronavirus fiasco has made me realize all the things I took for granted. Going wherever you wanted, walk in your favorite park, snacks at your favorite cafe, chai at your favorite stall. Missing all these. While I'm only 25, I can already say what's bothered me the most is the fact that all the tasks you need to complete throughout your day to continue to make life comfortable only seem to get increasingly more numerous, lengthy and tedious. Since being out of college, I feel like the necessary time it takes me to get ready in the morning has doubled. Shopping trips and chores seem to drag on far longer than they used to. I guess I just hate how much your time and effort has to be budgeted. I never even remember giving thought towards how much time a task might take before I was in college. I saw something like this quote on Twitter. I'm now at a point where I understand why my mom acted like making an extra stop on the way home was gonna kill her. Oh, 25 was good. Just wait until you're 30 to 35 and looking back on how strong and able you were at 25. I'm 25 and I get up at 6:30. Get to the office by 8. Work until noon. Take lunch. Work until 5. Home by 5:45. Then I gotta go for a run. Then shower. Then eat. If I'm cooking that night, I don't sit down to eat until at least 8:30. Then in bed at 10. What's the point? Getting reminded that you are getting older by a post on Reddit. Seriously though, remembering people that you'll never see again. Things you wanted to do and didn't. Women you wanted to do and didn't. Or couldn't. Or wouldn't let you lol. For me, men you wanted to do who wanted to do you. But you didn't realize it till they drunkenly told you. Years later. From within a bad marriage. Stuff doesn't make you happy as it used to. When you're a kid, teen, young adult, everything is new and exciting. You'll never forget your first trip to a certain country, or your first summer at sleepaway camp, or your first time trying weed, etc. But once you're in your mid-20s, there are fewer new experiences. Receding hairline. Going bald is traumatic. Being bald isn't. Anything you don't exercise as part of a weekly routine you find you can't do. When you're a kid, you can run anytime you want, whether you have run at all in the last month or not. Now, I can run only because I ran yesterday and Monday and will run tomorrow. Use it or lose it. Happens really fast after 35. Everything except my wife. She no longer sucks. If you're a guy, the breakdown in your male peeing system that gave you so much pleasure as a youngster, embracing everything with higher amounts of apathy, you'll hurt before you're 30. Get ready. Being annoyed with things you see young people doing. Then a moment later realizing you're an old crank. Coming closer and closer to the realization that you'll never know how it all ends. The contempt the young have for the old. It's like they think we chose diminished hearing, body falling apart, wrinkles, etc. It's gonna happen to you if you live long enough. You go to the doctor and they just shrug and say, meh, you're old. Officially, the answer is people you love die. Off the record, your looks fade and your body wears down and there's nothing you can do about it. When your parents have died, you begin to realize you've moved to the front ranks. You and your generation are next. People treat you worse. My knees and my back. Used to skateboard, and whenever I watch a good skate video I get all hyped and then I'm like, yeah? Not happening. Maybe I should bake a cake or something, that would be nice. I bought a new board and helmet. Wish me luck. Go for it. Good luck. Realizing how fucked up and not normal your childhood was. When you're a kid, it's hard to get perspective on things, and once you do, It can fuck with you in ways you never imagined. In my case it wasn't anything extreme, but teachers in school used to taunt me a lot. I don't think a teacher should taunt a child. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.